National HAJJ Commission has made the necessary for your comfort.
The preparation is very good.
I'm very happy, extremely happy, because this is my first time.
And I prepare to follow the rules and regulations given to me.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك لبيك الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Glad to be with you once again on the program as you answer the call. I am Rashida Abubakar, your regular host on the program. The National HAJJ Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, has established clinics in Mecca just the way it did in Medina to cater for the health needs of Nigerian pilgrims. In our Spotlight segment tonight, we shall be looking at how these clinics are being run. Also coming up are other regular segments such as NAHCON News Diary, Making the Hajj, as well as greetings and goodwill messages from pilgrims. Stay with us.
I appeal to you to respect instructions of your pilgrim officials because they are your guides and have been instructed on the needfuls. I beseech you to recall that this Hajj is a peculiar one because of the pandemic. As such, I hasten to advise you to abide strictly by all health regulations while in the kingdom and even after you return. Safeguard your valuables and do not carry along any prohibited item into Saudi Arabia as a sign of honor to the host country.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. The program kicks off with the News Diary. Keep watching.
The airlifting of Nigerian pilgrims back home continues steadily. The combined flights of Max Air, Azman Airline and FlyNAS have so far brought back over 10,000 pilgrims from Saudi Arabia. The states whose pilgrims have returned include Lagos, Kaduna, Bauchi, Kwara, Nasarawa, Sokoto and the FCT. Meanwhile, preparation is underway to transport over 7,000 Nigerian pilgrims to Medina, while they will visit Islamic historic sites including the Prophet's Mosque. The remaining pilgrims had taken their turn before the Arafat. Meanwhile, the chairman of the National HAJJ Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, Alhaji Zikrullah Kunle Hassan, has appealed to Saudi authority for timely release of information on Hajj preparations. The chairman made the plea in Mecca at a ceremony marking the closure of Hajj session. The event was organized by the Establishment for Pilgrims from African Countries, non-Arab, known as Muassasa.
Let me remind you all once again of an essential vehicle that has immense impact to Hajj preparation and arrangement for African pilgrims of non-Arab countries. Kindly recall our repeated requests and series of complaints to your good office for any supply of information and circular on basic Hajj arrangements. Providing us with essential information will enable us to effectively put in place all required arrangements in good time and with relative ease. It is obvious how lack of the timely essential information resulted in delay or rather hasty and in some instances difficulties experienced this year by some of our member countries. Many times we only get to read about vital information relating to our duties in the social media and other unofficial news channels.
Alhaji Zikrullah appreciated the Saudi government for organizing the 2022 Hajj successfully. In his remarks, Muassasa Chairman Dr. Ahmad Abbas Sinadi promised to do better in subsequent Hajj exercise.
Next year, you will see complete departure from certain practices. We cannot be this journey alone. It has got to be working hand in hand with you, gentlemen and ladies, our partners.
Present at the event were delegates from non-Arab countries such as Niger, Cameroon, Mali, South Africa, among others. In other news, the Executive Director of Katsina State Pilgrims Welfare Board, Alhaji Suleiman Nuhu Kuki, and the State Amirul Hajj, Justice Musa Dallaji, said pilgrims from the state conducted themselves well in the course of the Hajj. The official stated this during an interview in Mecca.
Most of our pilgrims have heard what they have been told and they complied. Up to now, we have not encountered any pilgrims that defaulted the norms of the Holy Land. And even now, on coming here, the enlightenment continued. Even after the performance of the Hajj, we still enlighten our people how to conduct themselves and how to go about their normal businesses before conveying themselves home.
Our pilgrims were never left on their own. They are always the guides, the ulama, with every group. Even during the Jamra stoning, we made sure our pilgrims went in groups. Each group was its leader and an ulama attached to it. So we generally have had no much issue because of the synergy and understanding.
The director applauded Governor Aminu Masari for supporting the board, particularly in securing accommodation close to Haram, noting that each Katsina State pilgrim received the sum of 300 Saudi riyals as gift from the state government. In a related development, Executive Secretary of Kaduna State Pilgrims Welfare Agency, Dr. Yusuf Yaqub, said measures have been put in place to ensure pilgrims comply with luggage guidelines.
We should provide a scale so that they can have an access to scale to measure before they take it to the airlines. So you will see them measuring their loads. They will ask, they will assess themselves, measure their luggages, and see if the luggage is beyond or above the 32 kg. They will immediately reduce it here before they go to the airport, go to the airlines where they will measure. So I envisage, a free hitch package, luggage conveyance to Kaduna.
Dr. Yusuf said the support from Kaduna State government and the synergy among staff made the work of the agency less cumbersome.
Alhamdulillah, you are still watching as you answer the call, a public enlightenment presentation that keeps you abreast of the activities of the National HAJJ Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, and other HAJJ-related matters. The national medical team constituted by NAHCON is responsible for the medical needs of Nigerian pilgrims during the Hajj exercise. This has been the practice over the years. The team carries out the responsibility in a coordinated way and working in concert with other stakeholders such as the Saudi Ministry of Health. We'll bring you details of how the medical team works in meeting the health needs of Nigerian pilgrims during the period of the Hajj. Stay tuned for the details. Don't go away.
لبيك لبيك اللهم لبيك 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 اللهم لبيك 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 اللهم لبيك.
This is one of the clinics established by the National HAJJ Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, in Masfala area of Mecca. NAHCON sets up such clinics and other medical outposts in Mecca and Medina, in line with the requirements of Saudi authorities. Dr. Usman Galadima is the Chief Operating Officer of the clinics for the 2022 Hajj. He sheds more light.
In Mecca, we have 6 clinics. We have 2 main clinics, one located in Ibrahim Khalil Street in the Masfala district area of Mecca. This clinic also admits is a 10-bedded hospital, and we have an outpost, 2 of its outposts, one located along Shara Hijra within the Kano pilgrim accommodation, and the other is in the Riabash area where most of our southwestern pilgrims are located.
The clinics and outposts are strategically sited close to the apartments of Nigerian pilgrims to ensure they have easy access to medical services. In addition to this, there are ambulance services for emergencies.
Now we have 4 advanced life support ambulances. They were purchased in 2016. They are fairly new, and we use these ambulances to convey emergencies. Our hospitals are mainly for observation. We observe patients between 48 to 72 hours. Now, but there are some outright emergencies that we will not be able to deal with here. So we use the ambulances to convey them or to refer them to Saudi hospitals.
During the stay in Mina, Arafah and Muzdalifah, the medical team carried out what is known as caravan services at pilgrims' tents.
So the caravan system is a situation where we embed all our personnel within the pilgrims. There are 17 service points for Nigerian pilgrims, and each of these service tents operated by the Muassasa has a clinic, stocked with drugs and so on. And then we also have a mobile drugstore that goes around to restock all these clinics. And we also carried out emergency response where we ferried our sick pilgrims to the nearest hospital. So we operate on the principles of scoop and run or stay and play. The ones we can deal with within the ambulances or in the tents, we deal with them. But the ones that we are unable to or we feel are critical in nature, we ferry them as fast as possible to surrounding hospitals within the Muna or the Arafat.
So far, Nigeria has recorded 5 deaths and also recorded other serious ailments as well as a pregnancy-related case.
In 2019, we had about 14 deaths around this period. So Alhamdulillah, the deaths have been fewer. However, we've had an explosion of pregnancies, really. Because we've had about 10 persons presenting with symptoms of pregnancy, confirmed pregnancy. We've had about 4 emergencies, pregnancy-related emergencies. We've had 3 miscarriages and 1 stillbirth. So it's quite a handful, really. Then we've had other serious cases that required surgical intervention.
At the clinics, NAHCON ensures that drugs are available for pilgrims.
There are some drugs that were procured here in Saudi Arabia, and then others that were brought in from Nigeria. So at the start of operation, the drugs we used were the drugs from Saudi Arabia. And there was delay in bringing in drugs from Nigeria, and this was mainly because of the e-track system that is still in evolution. To complete the process, it took some time. And during this period, you don't have access to anti-malaria over the counter unless in the hospitals. So most of our patients with malaria, we had to refer them to Saudi hospitals. But now we brought in a large cache of drugs, and we ensured that at least if all Nigerian pilgrims were to have malaria, each will have a medication, will have full dose of anti-malaria.
Nigerian pilgrims talk about their experiences at the clinics.
The hospital is well unique, and there were proper medical attention in the hospital. I personally, I have some other complaint about my headache and some other body pains, and which they kindly, sincerely consider my situation.
Na je na samu likitoci sun mun tambayoyi, aini na ansa kuma tambayoyin su kuma sun yi fahimta, sun ji daɗi, sun kawo magani sun bani. na ji daɗi, na gode.
Gaskiya na ci nasara akan maganin da ake dora ni akan shi, don haka kuma na gode, Allah ingirta.
Alhamdulillah, gaskiya ba laifi, ana gudanar da komai yadda ya kamata. Don wannan ba first time ma zuwa na ba, dan ina zuwa still ana checking dina. In ka zo da matsala za a yi checking, za a ma test a ga yadda problem din yake, sai a rubuta ma magani kuma sai ka karba sai ka tafi. Za su baka daidai wanda za ka sha na dan kwanaki kamar sati daya, sai ka sake zuwa ka reporting kanka.
When NAHCON introduced the use of electronic medical record EMR, the idea was to keep tab of all the activities of the clinics and to effectively manage data for research and many more.
These records have helped us in knowing exactly the number of pilgrims we are dealing with. We are able to disaggregate the data to tell us the kind of illnesses, the kinds of drugs that are most required, and so on. So it's been quite useful. In fact, we're second to Pakistan, the first among the first to launch the electronic medical record, and the Saudi authorities have been quite pleased with these achievements. We generate daily reports which we send to the Saudi Ministry of Health on a daily basis. So it's been quite useful.
The clinics will continue to remain active until all Nigerian pilgrims are lifted back home.
I appeal to you to respect instructions of your pilgrim officials because they are your guides and have been instructed on the needfuls. I beseech you to recall that this Hajj is a peculiar one because of the pandemic. As such, I hasten to advise you to abide strictly by all health regulations while in the kingdom and even after your return. Safeguard your valuables and do not carry along any prohibited item into Saudi Arabia as a sign of honor to the host country.
Masha Allah, we wish all pilgrims Hajj Mabrur. The program is As You Answer the Call. Coming up next is Making the Hajj. Tonight, Imam Adamu Abdullahi takes us through discussions on the lessons of Hajj. Let's hear him.
لبيك لبيك اللهم لبيك 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 اللهم.
Beyond performing Hajj rites, the exercise has many lessons embedded in it for Muslims to benefit. These lessons include deep consciousness of Allah and universal brotherhood of the Muslim Ummah. On Making the Hajj tonight, Imam Adamu Abdullahi explains more about these and other lessons embedded in the Hajj.
The first thing which the pilgrim does is ihram. That's to take the intention and wear specialized clothes by men. You find that the words that are said during the ihram, that's labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika lak labbaik, inna alhamda wa ni'mata lak wal mulk la sharika lak. That I've answered your call, oh Allah, I've answered your call. There's no partner to be associated with you. With all thanks and bounties are from you, and la sharika lak, no partner to be associated with you.
Hajj promotes unity among people of all races.
So if you observe Hajj, you find Muslims from different countries, with different languages, with different tribes, but they perform acts of worship together, like the Tawaf, like the Sa'i between Safa and Marwa, and most importantly the standing on Arafat, which is the climax of Hajj, which all Muslims of the world perform on the same day. So this coming together, worshiping together, interacting together enhances the unity of the Muslims of the world.
Similarly, the do's and don'ts of Ihram give Muslims a sense of humility and also eliminates class differences.
Therefore, this instilled in him the feeling that as a servant of Allah, he is supposed to learn to be obedient to the rules and regulations of Allah. And it also shows that all social classes are eliminated. You find that the king, the rich man, the politician, the poor man, they all appear the same and do the same acts. So all these things are binding on everybody. There is no exception.
Another lesson associated with the Hajj is patience and sacrifice.
Starting from the acts of worship, there are some of the acts of worship that needs physical activities. Because if you divide the acts of worship of Islam into three categories, there is the one you call ibadah badaniya. That is acts of worship that you do with your body, like prayer and fasting. There is ibadah maliya, acts of worship done with your wealth, that is zakat. And there's ibadah badaniya or maliya, acts of worship that involves spending and you physically participating, that is hajj. So one has to be patient to spend his money. One has to be patient to do certain things that ordinarily, for example, when you are going to Jamarat to throw the stones on the 10th, 11th, 12th, or 13th, from tent C, where most of the pilgrims stay, to Jamarat is about 5 kilometers. Ordinarily, at home, it is not easy for somebody to trek for 5 kilometers to go and come back.
Imam Adamu Abdullahi says these lessons are expected to be practiced earnestly by Muslims.
One of the signs that will show that your work have been accepted is to see that you continue other good deeds after it. So, all these things we have learned here, of going to the mosque regularly, of giving out, of restraining ourselves from un-Islamic practices, we should try to make them part and parcel of our lives.
The Islamic scholar further said that the visit to Baqiya Cemetery and other graveyards is a reminder to pilgrims that death is inevitable and must therefore prepare for it.
Alhamdulillah. Up next is goodwill messages from pilgrims. Let's hear them.
Imi honna Alhaji Kutsa diga Ibi sannan kuma Hajiya Amina diga jahal Kwara. Imi honna kuma iyaluji an gaba dai kowa da kowa imi rabe mauni rabe sannan ilenyol bandi rabe hukami honnibe. Insha Allah kuma jammin goni men gai aiki haji jan ijam.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Ọkọ mi ló ṣe ọlọ́kọ mi wá sáyé láti wá sí Hajj yìí. Ọkọ mi tó wá ṣe ọlọ́kọ mi wá sáyé láti Hajj yìí náà. Òun náà ti wá kọ́lọ̀ máa fi tiẹ̀ náà kó máa fi ṣe ẹ̀kan ọmọ ká tún lè jọ wá láti wá dúpẹ́ oore.
This is hoping that the messages are well received. Meanwhile, viewers seeking clarification or have questions to ask on any matter relating to Hajj or Umrah management and operations can do so through this program. Relevant officers will be contacted to respond appropriately. We also welcome your messages, comments, observations and questions through our mobile number and other social media platforms. Once again, Hajj Mabrur to all pilgrims. Hoping we will continue to live by the lessons embedded in Hajj.
لبيك لا